you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, outside the balls. So this is in response to Bem's specific phrase, the city elevated, which I found evocative. We'll see how far this paper lasts. Dear Joan, there you go in your giant red raincoat, rounding down the walk, an old woman in a new neighborhood, your white hair a wonderland of dragging bodies, creeping gradually over time. See Money Ward, see the dogwood above you, absent now of its second blooming, yet only hinting at fall, resembling the texture of crepe at twilight or before sunrise, an oily liquid obtained. Joan, this is just to say you're lovely once. I know you're lonely, framed for holding bobbins, like Diane, who died last month, who lived so long alone, so long Diane, so long walking, like you, Joan, the few blocks for groceries, then back to the darkness of your rooms, the very figure of the moon, often suspended on a pole, who forsakes her lover, the dogwood, attached to a boot or scalloped projections. Joan, you really are a beauty, floating even now in the face of the furnace, as if you were duping the fire in the final incineration of dreams. Dear Joan, in the park, when the sun came out, it seemed to be a thin, crisp cracker, unequaled in verdancy, brilliant as biscuits, patterned with small rounded figures, the daisy tufts, mole hills, people reading on blankets. This is enough, I thought. But then quickly, why isn't this enough? An ornithologist, a pederast, some locusts, they were all there in the park, in the sun bejeweled by its light, held fast and warm in the common glory of its thin gelatin, all of us living right here, right now. You, Joan, living too, through so many iterations of this new town, ugly as the day it was born, born on the backs of a rainbow of skin, and now on the backs of the brown. See Joan walking, always walking up the street and into the park where she gathers, just gathers into a heap, a large dull pile of small cups, rolls of carpet, rebar and broken toilets, the peel of a sour orange, fractured lumber, roofing. Others might find these things uninteresting, but she can't stop hearing, stop feeling the word peel, a homonym, peel, a leap of resonance, a sonority, a lap of singing, and in considering her status as cumulus, mess of raincoat, mound of delay, giant burst of popcorn who floats off to sing in the sky, as if all the arrogant gods were listening. Joan, a rack or trough for fodder in a field of purple heather, makes a painful decoration, and one is wont to linger in loosely twisted worsted, fancy work encrusted, coat of cri de coeur, O slatted storing corn, O stall for sheep and cattle, O plagiarist at rest, Joan, lift us up to lovely, the cedar boughs and maples, Mount Rainier at sunset, senseless, disgraceful acts of cribbage pegs and elegance, arranged in rows and holes. Open us like fishes, eviscerate on docks, all that air and light and racing oxygen, spilling quickly over us and lifting us again in evenings red and cloudly over broken cities with their filth of foreign money. Do you remember, Joan, when the music used to play in the street, everyone singing against what everyone feared this city has become? Joan, Why is it these places we used to go are now cold on our returning? Don't be trite and suggest that it's we who've changed. Do bluebells really know time? Does a moth, does it ruin them as it appears to have ruined us? I, for one, refuse to admit the passing of time. Sure, the tables turn, the iron bar comes down or lifts, seemingly at random. This thing that all of us have found us in, it's more a whirling dance of near rhyme than some goose stepping along a line. Joan, you know as well as I do that every day has its night, every night its day, meaning, well, you know what I mean. What chronology explains, say, green, or the lap of waves on the bank, the counter-current of a shallow eddy? What is argon, krypton, silicon? How will I explain that one to the spider in its web an accident of mastery, a mystery, a joy to splash in rather than condemn? Why march when we can dance, Joan? Can't you feel the surge of blood, the pound and flour, nail gun and driver, and the moths, a massacre, a blizzard of wings? Dear Joan, I know you know, in the bluest bell, the loudest ring. Where have all the good times gone? Have they too been gentrified? It's not the whites alone who are guilty, but the selfies. Pity the whites, displaced from the labor force and forced into jogging, into the academy, that gulag of debt and sophistry. There is no up and down on this ladder. The movements of peoples is phenomenal. A coffin is not a thing to be gentrified. The tombs of the rich only seem ornate to the living. For the dead, the wine bar and the dive bar look the same. Joan, I remember the milkweed growing along the driveway at the garage sale, the warm air and crickets, that fat Michigan family, the one in her chair all day, all that plastic shit spilling from the garage, not a single thing worth owning. There were diapers, an opened package of diapers, for sale, the diapers, smelling of powder and sweat beside the Barbie castle, and the woman sitting, her body devouring the chair, and the milkweed growing, standing, stuck in the humid air, the shallow ditch, the crickets cricking, the butterflies terrorizing their blooms. How much, I said, for the milkweed? Joan, what are these first leaves? A kind of generative swarm, the birth of the tongue? Is all making merely a lending of form? Can we do nothing but ruin? What if this is grace, this pile of waste, the poem for which we're all wrecking the unwrecked lexicon, trampling the garden to gentrify the flowers? Did you hear that, Joan? He ordered Gestapo soup. Does it come with focaccia? It did, and he got it. It was cold and neatly arranged, both the soup and the man. Several sparrows gathered at his feet. It was June, I think, or August, one of those long and always summer days. No one walks around here anymore, not like you, Joan, who haunt the sidewalks, a kind of kinetic sculpture, warm flame in a ghost town. The bookshops are empty and full of Dan Brown. God damn it, Joan. This isn't easy, making music for aliens. Why didn't Matthew Brady photograph me? Am I so démodé? It's hard not to leer when one is always reeling. Lee Duck-Toe had a smile that stopped a war, but refused the Nobel Peace Prize. There's no peace in prizes, in intellectual life, annelid worms. Look at the fog this morning, Joan, how it plays in the wind, in the light of the street lamp, every time a car passes by. Here's a little lovely glass of gin for us to wear in our skin. Joan, why is it that we concede so readily to seizure? Are we so alone as Joey Ramone, dead now, finally sedated? It seems to me that one can't even find alone, what with wife, child, ex-wife, dog, in-laws, ex-in-laws, ex-dogs, etc. Just yesterday I found myself longing to be a fire hydrant, standing alone on the walk, solid, simple, strangely charismatic. No one willing to park near me. A fire hydrant commands respect and space. A fire hydrant will never be an unwilling participant of any arts award dinner or panel on innovative Cascadian poetics. Perhaps I'm making assumptions, so what? These are the means, and the means are the end. Joan, you say you got malaria from a particularly filthy drain pipe in Mineola. I'm not so sure, but I'm disinclined to argue the point. I don't think you're mad, Joan, old as autumn and as red. Think of Berryman, Shoe, any other malentendu. What drops, drops. What falls, falls. The professor said the reason for obfuscation in the film is obfuscation in our lives. Isn't that clear? Look at the wires stretched across us, as if we were some Gullivers tied and staked by Lilliputians. Look at the barriers, the closed roads. We are our own Guantanamo. Sure, it's lovely here, if you can get to it. When I was young, I found a kind of spiritual nourishment in the wanton destruction of property. So offended was I by concepts of ownership. But now look at me, filthy rich by the boon of poetry, a wealth of ways to say how do you do. How do you do, Joan? We might discover gold, you and I, doing this. I see you've been at it long. This gathering of spikelets, I don't mind what's inconspicuous. In fact, I generally prefer it. The gold therein shines less dimly. Wouldn't it be lovely if it were June 24th, poppies blooming, the whole summer ahead of us, having just quit our jobs, leaving town to camp outside of Roslyn, or better, staying in the city, lingering in the park with the others, hardly wearing anything, wine the only thing to do, to finish the book, walk the few blocks beneath the maples home, and sit there by the open window, listening to robins, traffic whispering, skill saw, nail gun, and corridos singing from the building going up down the street. The green gloves are mine, Joan, but you can use them if you want to, being here for all of us, rolling over an oar, some thick terrain. The verdict is still out on the value of public art. This particular piece, however, has been climbed on forever. Isn't that what all of us are after? Not mine, but a mine from which minerals are extracted. Joan, lift me above the city so that I might sing more clearly, say one thing simply. I love being alive, love doing nothing, walking through the rain-soaked park, wondering at the trees, and who and how many have walked beneath them before. There you go again, Joan, in your giant red raincoat, rounding down the walk, an old woman in a new neighborhood, your white hair a wonderland of dragging bodies. Joan, this is just to say you're lovely once. I know you're lonely, floating even now in the face of the furnace, duping the fire and the final incineration of dreams. Thank you so much.